This is the Black Powder Podcast, coming at you live and direct. Your salty tears season my life. It's the Black Powder Podcast. Once again, it's on. This is the Black Powder Podcast. I am your host, well, one of your hosts tonight, Marcus Matthews, the only real libertarian on the only real libertarian podcast that has ever existed in the history of the universe, essentially. And I don't say that lightly, because this is a grand undertaking. I want you people to understand something. I do this.
Here we go.
I do this because I care. I care about each and every one of you. So much so, you know, my other two normal hosts, they had to call off tonight. And I brought you one of the most dynamic individuals in the libertarian movement. And I'm going to introduce him right now.
That's also backstage.
That's also me. That's
also you. Is that
yeah?
All right, that makes more sense.
That's one of my personalities. I jest, but we do have a extremely influential libertarian co-host tonight, and my guy Free. How you doing, sir?
What's up, y'all? Happy to be here.
Well, thank you very much. Tonight we're going to be bringing you a federal campaign out of the great state of Virginia. Our guest is going to be on in a little bit. But what I wanted to do in the meantime is talk to Free about his experience at the LP conventions going all over the country. He had a great one in California because he got to meet me. And, I was embarrassed because he asked me for my autograph. And then he wanted pictures and all this weird stuff. And I was like, man, I've never been fanboyed so hard in my entire...
They were trying to get you to pay your bar bill, which was extensive. And that's what you were signing, was your bar bill.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
But Free's been doing his popular Are You Smarter Than a Politician game show all over the country at libertarian conventions. And he did one at National last week. So we wanted to touch base with you on your experience doing that, and what did you glean out of the whole enterprise that you just undertook?
Well, I'm not exactly sure if there was a question there, so I'll just randomly talk like you do. So
I said glean. That was the question.
Glean was the question.
Yeah.
Do I have to glean the question, or was glean the question? I got really confused about 3 minutes into that question. So. It was a big honor to do the. There we go. Amy's already correcting you. Here we go. It was a huge honor to do the show live from the Libertarian National Convention in Grand Rapids on Saturday. It coincidentally was our 100th show, and Casey and family made their way up there, so he was there. Obviously, Amity was with me. Terry worked her magic behind the scenes. We had a great show. We had Jo Jorgensen, who just announced today that she's putting together an exploratory committee to run for president in 2028. We had Chase Oliver, who was the 2024 presidential nominee. We had Lars Mapstead, who's running for Congress in the fourth largest economy in the world, California.
Yep.
Fourth largest. I wrote that down. And then we also had Ammon Bundy, who you may know from, his trials and tribulations out west there. And he also ran for governor of Idaho. Excellent dude. We had such a great time. It was a really lively, fun audience. Lots of our friends. I got to meet so many new people in person that I knew from online and, through the show. So that was a ton of fun. And then, it was 4 more days in addition to that one. So it was, just packed with stuff going on and all the party business and the elections. And then, of course, there were some shenanigans and tomfoolery afterwards, and that was a lot of fun as well. I partook in all of those festivities. So we had a great time.
Nice. Now, this one, I don't know if it was controversial as the last national convention, but there was some, I saw some weird stuff, and I'm not here to gossip or make people look bad, but there were some, let me ask you, why can't libertarians just get along?
Well,
what
it's
is
a business meeting with, over 600 people. And, we have, as any large organization would have, we have, some differences of opinions, and, even further, we have some factions. So there's going to be some disagreement. And then there's who's in charge, who's not in charge, who wants to be in charge. So then there's shenanigans around all that stuff. But for the most part, obviously I've seen all of the feedback between, afterwards and people doing their commentary and stuff. But my takeaway was not anything to do with the conflict and stuff like that. I mean, there are just so many great people there. For, those that stood out for a negative reason, there was another 200 that, did their job and worked hard and, wanted to represent their affiliates and their states and, the candidates running from their areas. So obviously there were some, lowlights, but I think there were way more highlights.
Word. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it to this one. And did you have a chance to catch up with Tub? Did you see him there?
I did. We were in the same delegation from the great state of Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I just wanted to tell everybody Eric is under the weather and Tub had a prior engagement. So that's why I had to go to the other default Florida man and free tonight. And we want to thank him for his gracious presence, so to speak, on this.
Oh,
the only real libertarian podcast. Hold on. This comment is funny to me. The LPNH is the best LP in a union. That's hilarious.
Not anymore.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of theirs for a variety of reasons. I don't personally think I'd be welcome in their fold for one reason, but the endorsement of Trump, that killed it for me. I was like, yeah, I'm done with you guys. Why even call yourself a libertarian if you're going to go politic with the duopoly, that one party that's put us all in the position that we're in today, where the economy, basically the economy stupid, as they like to. What was that, Bill Clinton that said that back when he was running? It's the economy stupid.
I think it was James Carville who was that he wrote that line for Clinton. Yeah.
And I just failed to see the point in giving that dude another chance. I failed, and I'm not going to bash, because I have friends that voted for him. They went down a notch. Also because they like pineapple on pizza. I think that's a tad bit worse, and you know who I'm talking about. But I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She's like one of my favorite people ever. I'm so glad I had a chance to meet her. But
back to your point, though. I mean, if you break the bylaws, there are going to be consequences. So, yeah. I mean, every organization has rules, and you're going to have to deal with the consequences of it. And I saw somebody in the chat say that they moved the needle in New Hampshire. I would give more of that credit to the Free State Project.
Yeah, Eric Brinke.
Yeah, and I think I just had all them on the show a couple weeks ago, and I think they've moved the needle a lot more than the shit posting from LPNH has. So
it gave credence to that thought process amongst the drones of the duopoly, that libertarians are just batshit crazy and can't articulate a point without taking it off into left field for an extended period of time. And I think everything they did was counterproductive to the movement, because not only is it lessening the presence of the Libertarian political party, but it's also degrading the value of the Libertarian Party by engaging. Everybody likes to laugh, but you're right. The shit posting and the crap that came out of there, it was just I didn't think it was detrimental to the party more so than it helped.
Well, it's so funny that it was the same people that were talking about closed-toe shoes for 2 weeks before the convention will also defend the people that are the most unprofessional political social media presence on the entire internet. And again, they make me laugh too, some of the times, but I wouldn't want to be a candidate running for office and have somebody, search on X and find them.
Yeah. And, New Hampshire, I do believe they are at the forefront of the liberty movement, but I like to give credit to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania elected a crap ton of libertarians to local offices, school boards, county offices, city offices, all over that state. And when we had Eric Brakey on here, I told him, I was like, hey, I think you guys may be losing your mantle as the leader in this movement, because Pennsylvania they put, I think it was well over 20 candidates they actually got elected for the Libertarian Party. So that's one thing I will say to that. I wanted to get back to, because our guest, he's running late. He said he'll be here in 15 minutes when we went on live. So it should be any time now. But how was the vibe at the national on federal candidates? Did you get any sense of is the Libertarian Party moving forward with fielding more federal candidates, or are we still going to focus on the local?
I think and I'm speaking more for myself and what I picked up through the conversations I've had both on the show and in person, but I think most people agree with the fact that we're going to be more successful in local races and we need to concentrate on those. But there's a lot of education and awareness that goes on because we run federal candidates. And a lot of people came into the party because of Ron Paul or Gary Johnson or Joe Jorgensen or Chase. And, so they bring people into the party because they get national exposure, and when they come to town they get media coverage, and then anybody else that shows up also gets that media coverage too. So state and local candidates get the same coverage from that. And so I think people are all in favor of continuing to run federal candidates, but it's very expensive and it doesn't leave a lot of money left over for running a successful campaign. So I think most people kind of just look at it as a marketing expense and not a serious viable election campaign. And now, could that change? I mean, if we got the right candidate or if we got a big money donor, that could change. But, as of right now, nobody was beating Trump in 2024. So it's like, Kennedy bowed out for concessions, and, Biden ended up dropping out, and the Dems scrambled and all of that. But, so, I mean, Chase had, 0% chance before he was even nominated, right? So, I mean, I don't think any of really what happened was anything to do with Chase as a candidate. And I just think it's that, he's not in the national debate and he doesn't get the federal matching funds, and we're fighting for ballot access the whole time he's running. And we also nominate too late, which we're changing. So we're going to nominate in February of 2028 now, instead of waiting until the end of May, like we have in previous years or previous election cycles. And so, I mean, I think that'll help a lot, and that'll give the person more time to travel and make media engagements and participate in national conversations. So I think that'll all help.
Well, I know Tubb is going to try to take credit for that, because he proposed something similar to that to Stephen Nikela months back when he was on. Now, while I agree with the local focus, I still think we need to field federal candidates for like the House, Senate, and that's about it. And tonight we are actually going to have a federal candidate. And for me, it's all about the messaging, because we still have to put those people out there that are going to get the message out there. And without further ado, I want to bring our guest in tonight from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Amity, Taner Lopez. How you doing tonight?
How are you guys?
Welcome, Taner.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good. Thank you. Taner, thank you for coming. First of all, thank you for coming on tonight. And it is Taner. It's not am I enunciating your first name correctly?
Yeah. Here is Taner. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is elsewhere what is I'm just curious because I've never seen Taner went in as Taner.
Yeah, Taner or Taner. People from different countries can call me with different pronunciations, with the accents in the back, in the front. So, but here is Taner. So don't worry,
okay.
It's good.
Right. Yeah, it's all good because I got all kinds of names for free too, but I'm going to be a gentleman tonight and refrain from using such.
You use a lot of hand signals too, right?
All right, Taner. Normally, my guy Eric does this, but tell us who you are, what you're running for, and why or what made you choose the Libertarian Party.
All right. Yeah. So, well, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. So, who I am? Well, I came as an immigrant almost 15 years ago, and got here with my papers, weigh all the process legally, and then choose to become a U.S. citizen. I have a deep admiration and profound admiration to the United States and people of this country, and I wanted to become, with my own free will and accord, a U.S. citizen. I came here, was very. I worked, I studied, I started with a valet parking attendant, and meanwhile I could complete my studies, got my master's in religion, in world religions and cultures, and then continued with the PhD. And then I used my language background and joined as a cultural advertise for the DoD. This is after 4 years of me trying to push to have a federal job. So it's been 6 years. I've been working with different agencies as a cultural advisor, and I focus on different regions in the world. So I have a big passion for the politics, and I've been all the time looking at the debates on the TV, mainstream, as well as other additional platforms on YouTube. I consume a lot of YouTube. So I've been all the time trying to understand both parties, and I like the foreign policy. So it's kind of my hobby. And I always been engaged in political discussions. Is a taboo here, right? You don't talk with your friends or family members about politics. But I broke that in a way that it's soft, it's not confrontational. So I always did that. And I got passionate about politics since Trump and Hillary, and then Biden, and now what happened now. So The reason I wanted to be in politics is because precisely after seeing that how not effective are the politicians. They are not delivering what they're supposed to do after promising to the US people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they are not delivering. They're incompetent. So I said, okay, I'm constantly criticizing now these people. I'm going to do by myself, because I've been talking to my friends and people that I knew about politics. I was a big Trump supporter in the past elections. I on social media, I put some post on social media, try to influence my contacts, and many of them did. They got influenced by me, and they voted for this. And then after him getting elected, see what happens. What happened? He completely forget about our country, our people, and he started to focus on Israel in other countries. So giving priority to another country, and that made me being very upset. I got embarrassed because I was pushing this guy to be elected, and now he's doing this. I just said, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't expect it from this guy. So I said, okay, I am going to run by myself. I'm going to move step forward. I'm going to make this effort. And if I'm elected, I will do what I say. I'm not a liar. I am sincere. I'm genuine. So yeah, this is my history. And since I see this corruption, as you know, I believe that United States is not a sovereign country, is not an independent country anymore, and both parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, are fully controlled by foreign powers. I said, okay, I'm going to move with the Libertarian Party that I always liked, but I thought it was a waste of the vote. But I see that actually voting for the mainstream parties is a waste of vote. So that is why I contacted the Libertarian Party and I expressed what I believe, and they say, yeah, you are a good candidate. So after being going through all the process, I got nominated and endorsed. So here I am.
Awesome. There were two questions. It was the same question. They want to know where you're originally from.
I was I'm originally from Europe. I'm European. I'm Mediterranean. Was born in Turkey, raised in Spain. My father was Turkish, and my mother is Spaniard. So when people ask me where are you originally from, I say I'm Mediterranean because I lived in both countries, and I have both cultures in me. I speak both languages. Yeah.
Awesome. Free?
Yeah. So how do you define success for this campaign, whether it's in terms of vote share or visibility of libertarian ideas or any other metrics?
Yeah. So there are many obstacles for the Libertarian Party. We are not playing at the same level with other two parties. So anything that we can win, it's a win-win. So first of all, just being on the ballot, I think it's a success. To be able to offer to the voter another option to choose. And many people, they take it seriously. They investigate who the candidates are. They go through their websites. They listen their parties. They look at podcasts. So I think the first win is be on the ballot. and of course, then get the votes, which is deliver the message to as much people as we can. As the Libertarian Party, people should know what we are for. People should know that, for example, Republicans steal our ideas about taxation. People, they should know that we focus on liberties, individual liberties. We are against war. Democrats should know that we are against wars. So these kind of things. So we can be a unifying party. In this atmosphere, we almost engaged in a civil war just a few months ago. So people actually, if they know we exist, they would start considering us. That's the thing. And then we will be growing. So I think any step forward is a win-win.
All right. I wanted to interject real quick. I posted your link to your webpage, and on your webpage, this is for everybody that's watching and listening. If you scroll about halfway down, you'll see a contribute to the cause, and under that, there's a donate button. Now, the link is very long, and it clutters when you post stuff like that. But if you go to LopezForVA.com, there's a donate button. As we say on this podcast, put your money where your memes are. We are libertarians, and this is part of our mission is to get libertarians in office. And the way we do that is by donating to the cause. I'm not asking you to give $500 right now. If you have $500, give it. Free, he's a millionaire, so he could just throw around $500 like it was discarded toilet paper or whatever. I'm not going to say what was on the toilet paper because that's obviously not what we want to do right now. But go to LopezForVA.com, $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever you can give, please give. Now, I wanted to go to your platform real quick, and your first issue is you said re-independence. Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
Yes. So when I say re-independence is because, as I mentioned before, unfortunately, there are many foreign lobbies that paid our Congress people. Not only the Congress, they paid the Senate, they paid people that we elected, and they supported the president. And this is not $100, $200. These are millions of dollars. They are pouring money, hundreds of millions of dollars into the pocket of these people before getting elected. They say, hey, you are a candidate, so tell about yourself. And they tell about yourself. Okay, so we are this and this and this. We love this country, and we are going to give you $100 million. Do you like it? Oh yeah, of course I like it. What exchange? So we are going to tell you what to do when you got elected. Oh, okay, I can do that, of course. So they took their money, as happened to Thomas Massey's in the elections at the Kentucky. Yeah. He was a sitting member of the Congress. He would be re-elected again in his district. So they took down a guy that his seat was secure. They took him down and put another person because he said, hey, I will oppose sending our soldiers to fight another country's war. I will oppose our tax money to be sent to another country. And this lobby poured money into his opposition, and then they won. They got a lot of marketing with that money, and they won. So, and this is about 95% of our Congress. So this is an occupation of our Congress with a foreign power, foreign lobby. It's not only influence, it is control. And this control you can see in Epstein files. many people cannot even speak. So if they speak, a lot of bad things will be public and they will be super embarrassed. So that is what's happening. So this is blackmailing that happens in our Congress, in the White House, and not only there, in the local, in the media as well. When I had my debate at a month ago, more than a month ago, with two Republicans and two Democrat candidates at Virginia 8th District. It was a local event, small, with a Hispanic community. After the debate, a local newspaper, magazine, interviewed me. Say, hey, we want to ask you questions. Okay. They ask about the immigration, they about other things, and they ask about what do you think about the current war. I said, I completely oppose sending our troops to die for another country's regional aspirations. Guys, the person closed the camera, turned the light off in front of almost 100 people. And I have my witnesses. LP Nova was there. They all saw what happened, and they were looking at me, and I was looking at what happened. Right immediately after I said that. So the influence and control, it's not in Congress, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So this means that we are not a sovereign country. You don't need the foreign soldiers to be on the street with tanks and machine guns to say that we are an occupied country. We see this occupation in our Congress. So what does re-independence mean? Re-independence means that we need to be independent again. I cannot celebrate our independence in July 4th because we are not independent. We are controlled by a foreign lobby and influenced by a foreign lobby. And all the soldiers that died for this country to give this freedom to us, they are just they cannot sleep in their graves in peace. So that is re-independence about.
Free?
Yeah, so staying on a similar theme, you've spoken against U.S. involvement in conflicts like those related to Israel. What's your stance on foreign aid, military alliances, and endless wars?
Well, I do not support foreign aid at all. I do not support, but because you can be, for example, let's see, we're going to have a foreign aid to which country? Let's say, for example, a Muslim country, or let's say is a Christian or a Jewish country, or let's say is a Buddhist country, or whatever religions, or another language. As a free U.S. citizen, I can be able to say, no, I don't want to send my money to that country because I have a particular problem with that country. So sending our tax money without the consent of people is wrong. If I want to send my money to one country, particular country, I can do it in many ways with non-profit organizations. I can do it with through my church. I can do it with another organization. I don't need the state shouldn't be involved in this. By the way, when these things happen, we saw a lot of corruption. How do I know that when the US sends $400 million to Argentina, that their contacts there are not giving a tip, 20% tip to the people that approved this money? How can we know this? So there is a lot of corruption going on, and I don't trust. So foreign aid, unfortunately, not. I don't support. Military engagement, absolutely not. As I said, our soldiers shouldn't be dying for other countries' war. So alliances, yes, I agree with alliances. I agree that we need to have alliances, but those alliances, we need to check if we are actually getting what we're supposed to be getting. For example, NATO countries, there are countries that did not contribute. And one of the things that I supported Trump because of that they were not contributing to the cause. And the US was putting the money. So I would say, first of all, if I am in the Congress, I would say, hey guys, we need to make these people to pay all the money that they didn't pay for the last 30, 40 years. They need to put that money down. They owe us. And after that, we need to see, okay, let's see if this country is good for us to be aligned with. So because that was the NATO treaty was more than 4 or 5 decades ago. So we need to see what's happening there. Are those countries actually our friends? Yeah. That's my perspective.
The only thing, getting back to Massey real quick, that I can extrapolate from that, and that's my SAT word for tonight, is extrapolate. The only thing I can extrapolate from that is when you look at the demographics of who voted against Massey, it was overwhelmingly boomers. Massey won basically Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. He won all the vibrant people. Who he didn't win are these people that go on Facebook, see an AI image of Trump riding a rhinoceros into James Tallarico's house and running him over while he eats his vegan meal. And they took that and said, I can't vote for that guy because Trump is, he's over here taming rhinoceroses. And I'm not going to say this lightheartedly because my dad is a boomer. He's very much still alive, but I influence my dad with my libertarian point of view, and we go back and forth on some things we agree on. But we are at a point where boomers are going to start fading away. Mm-hmm. And the next generations don't hold that same ideal of Israel as they did, because they were the catalyst behind elevating this narrative that Israel's our greatest ally. Every time I hear somebody say that, I wish Great Britain, the UK was in a room when they say that, so I could look at their face after all that the United States and Great Britain have been through over the decades and decades and decades. And for them to say a country that spies, that attacked I don't ever recall the British attacking us since 1812. But Israel bombed the USS Liberty. They knew about the bombing of the barracks in Lebanon. They have dragged 2 Republican presidents into unnecessary wars in the Middle East. And if you look at the common denominator, it was boomers who were the main players in all of those things. So I think there's hope for the future, and that's where I'm always saying libertarians need to seize the moment. We had a great chance in 2024, but we got McCardled, and that kind of screwed us over a little bit. And now we have another opportunity coming up in 28, because it's going to be a fresh field of faces, and you're going to have grand examples with Biden and Trump as the failures that they were in so many ways. So we have that chance. So I want to ask you, what is your vision for the Libertarian Party leading into 2028?
Yeah. So I want to, you are right. Many things that you're saying, the boomers, and they are going forward, that's right. But just a detail that, so every country works for themselves. I don't believe Israel for working themselves, or any other, Russia working for themselves, Turkey working for themselves, and we need to work for ourselves, for our influence overseas. That is a normal thing. But every country should defend herself, our country as well. So regarding the future, I wish I would have the same hope as you do, but I don't know if you heard about when Benjamin Netanyahu said they give $7,000 for every post or tweet for to the influencers. That's exactly. So that is why they are investing in TikTok. They bought TikTok, and they all these things that young people to brainwash young people, basically. So they are aware what's going on. They are aware that boomers are getting out. They are aware that the young population don't support, and they are making their investments. So we need to counter that, and we need to create some kind of a platform. We need to reach out young communities. We need to have more podcasts like this, and reach out universities, even reach out high schools, and say, hey, this is a new movement. This is very energetic. This is uniting. So we need to get out and give them the opportunity to get involved in the party, because these two parties, old parties, it's impossible to get in without these kind of connections and all that stuff. But young people, our party is not like that. Now we are the party to be invested for the future. So I would definitely count like a organization like TPUSA, the Charlie Kirk's kind of organization, some kind of organization like that, going to the universities, to high schools, open up minds, going into debates, talk about free market, talk about our principles. We need to do that. We need volunteers. I definitely support that.
I concur. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, about having a libertarian chapters on college campuses like the duopoly does. I just wanted to say that $7,000 is what got free that fancy microphone that changes colors and all that stuff. So I don't know if we offended him at any point with our $7,000 bashing.
That's true. I've been lovingly talking about all of the wars in Israel just to make money. So,
hey, we have a comment by one of our successful libertarians and down in the great state of El Paso, saying Free is a much better host than Tub. Great choice. You know, Tub is probably mad right now because I was talking crap about boomers, and you know he's a boomer, so.
That's true.
That's it. Free, what do you got?
Yeah, so why should independents or disaffected Republicans or disaffected Democrats consider voting for a libertarian in your race?
Because I'm genuine. I will do what I will hear people, and I will do what is good for this country. And everything that I say, it's on my website. They can go and they can see what I am for. So I don't have another agenda behind when it's time to vote for something. So what I'm going to deliver for, I will work for more freedom, lower taxes. If there is a war, I will vote against. Transparency, I will be there. So instead of the establishment controlling their candidate, it will be an independent candidate. And I'm local here in 7th District. I am easy to access. I can go everywhere, talk to communities and hear people. Hey, actually, what do you want me to do when I'm in the Congress? Do you have anything in mind? Because I want to deliver. As a person, I want to be successful, and I want to be re-elected again. And that is why if a Democrat, this is what happens. I talked to many Democrats and many Republicans while I was collecting signatures, and I still need to collect a lot of signatures, and I still need a lot of volunteers to show up at my events. So when I'm there, I talk to people. Many people, they don't even know what libertarianism is about. And I talk to them, and many people said, actually, I like that. Yeah, that's what I think. Maybe I will vote libertarian. I cannot guarantee now, but I mean, you sound like a logic person, because that is what libertarianism is about. We want logical solutions, not some mandated solutions. And our candidates, since we are a party that is not centralized, our candidates actually work for their local people. So being local, and as a local candidate, being on a federal position makes local people the power to contribute to the cause, to the country. That is what I would say to any Democrat and Republican.
Free. This was your segment.
This is my segment.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you one that might be a little dicey. All right. So I went through your platform, and you say that you strongly support the Second Amendment, but you also back background checks for certain individuals. So where exactly do you draw the line on gun rights?
Yeah. So what I would say is that if a person has many convictions in the past, that this is a violent actions, got arrested, got jailed, comes in, comes out again, these people, in my belief, shouldn't have access to guns because they can kill people. I don't want a criminal to have easy access to guns and do violent acts that could result in the death of any innocent people. This is one. And critically ill, mentally ill people as well. If we know that a person cannot control themselves, we know that person hitting a woman on the street without any kind of regard, without people, the only way he stopped because people just stopped him doing that. That person shouldn't be able to have a gun, because whenever he goes again, he will take a gun and shoot people on the street. So that is what I defend that idea. But of course, yeah, go ahead.
To me, that sounds like you don't trust the criminal justice system, and you don't expect people to be reformed when they come out of the criminal justice system. So what changes do you think need to be made to the criminal justice system? For example, policing, sentencing, prisons, prosecution, rehabilitation, etc.
Well, the justice system, when a criminal makes a crime, the justice system depends on their states. If that will be, every state has different rules, so I cannot control what every state has decided for their own judiciary system. So if a person is convicted and comes out, and you see a pattern of this person doing the same thing again and again, that is a red line for me. So why should I allow this person to have access to guns if we already see the pattern, this person not doing something correct? So for example, I know a person got stalked, a lady got stalked, and this person stalked in the past other 7-8 girls, and he got sentenced to 2 months and then increased 6 months. So this guy is constantly coming in and coming out. So you should be able to stop this person, for example, with restraining orders or more severe orders, because it is a pattern that is repeating. So the same thing with the gun, with the violence. If this person is violent, why we should give them a gun?
Now, I own multiple firearms. This podcast started about firearms, and I know there's people that have asked me to take them shooting, including family members, where I made up the most bullshit ass excuse why I wouldn't take them shooting with me. And the primary reason is because I like living and I didn't trust them to go out there shooting with me. Now, there was a comment, laws against certain people having guns don't stop bad people from getting guns. And that's very much true. And that's why I think the first thing about the Second Amendment needs to be constitutional carry and the right to go in there and immediately pass a background check, because I am not necessarily against background checks. And that's because, here in SoCal, we do have a gang culture. And there are people that have a complete disregard for human life that I live within 5-10 miles of. And it's a difficult question for libertarians to answer because we are absolutists on the sanctity of the Second Amendment. Right. But at the same time, and I think that's where libertarians fail in a lot of their messaging, is we need to be realistic about this situation where there are people who are not fully functioning members of society that I'm afraid to say should not have firearms in their possession, for the simple fact that they pose an imminent threat to us all. And the first way to remedy that threat is to make sure people are able to carry a firearm for their protection no matter where they go. I don't give a shit if it's in a government building or not, because there's threats to if anything, the Second Amendment was for going into government buildings. If we're really looking at the framing of the Second Amendment, but there should be no restrictions on where a quote unquote law-abiding citizen should be able to carry a firearm, because cops carry a firearm everywhere they go. And why do they do that? Because they think there's a threat everywhere they go. What threats do cops face that we don't face? And so that's my particular position on that. And I wanted to get to your, this part on, you being an immigrant and this being a time and place where immigration is a hot topic. How do you vote and how do you legislate on immigration when you're in Congress?
Yeah. So it's a big, important topic. It's such an important topic. And everyone says something different. So we see what happened. So we have, first of all, an immigration problem. We got 30 million, 40 million undocumented people, unchecked, unvetted people got into the United States in a very short time. And this is not only happened during the Biden administration. It happened before as well. So, and these people are here. So Trump administration said that we're going to fix this. We're going to deport everyone outside. And the numbers that we have, 40 million, 30 million people, it will take 25 years to, if they continue doing this and with zero unchecked new immigrant coming in, it's going to take 25, 30 years to get these people out when they will have children, families, and more undocumented people. It's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. And people voted for this because they wanted to see, we want to know who our neighbors are. Are these people safe? Because we don't. Libertarianism, some libertarians say everyone should be free. I see both sides, liberty and security. I think they should be, they should go together, liberty and security. So it is not effective. It is impossible to shoot these people out of this country in a short time. What can we do? I believe that that's why I have it on my website. I have I worked on a bill, which is Immigration, Workforce, and Security Act, where we will be able to say, okay, you are an immigrant. first we want you to be documented, and we are going to give you a chance because we do need a workforce in the US. So we will treat you as a person that who puts money here. But since you came here and you are getting advantage of the system, you need to pay our country back whatever you are taking, because taxpayers cannot support you. It's not their obligation to you to receive free education, free healthcare. It's not their duty. You need to pay for it, and then you can find a job, and you will start paying taxes as other people do. And this should be controlled in areas that we really need workforce. We really need hand in maybe agriculture, maybe in um, any service related business. It could be anywhere. So controlled workforce, and we need to know who you are. We need to you need to have a vetting process. We need to check your background, and if you're not criminal, if you're clean, okay, we are going to give you a chance, but now you need to pay others people back because you cannot live out of other people's money. Nothing is for free.
I think we have to get back to the 2A thing real quick, because Ryan Woodcraft from the city of El Paso in the great state of Texas, Amity, he says, Tanner, how would you circumvent someone who fails a background check from getting one on the black market?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
There is I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I would say it's impossible. What would you say, Free? What happened?
You'll have a black market that will sell, machine guns to children, as opposed to, if it's a regular industry, then you'll have the safeguards of a business doing business with insurance and all of that stuff. The more regulations, the bigger the black market, the more bad guys have guns.
Well, I just want to chime in real quick on black markets. I would love for a black market because I know I wouldn't see Free there, and so
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right. At any rate, Free, you got the next question?
All right, so Tanner, you have advocated for reducing the size of the federal government, and you oppose new taxes. So which specific departments or programs would you look to target for cuts or complete elimination?
Yeah, well, every department should be studied what they do and what is their purpose, because many departments I have never get any kind of benefit from, and they might have thousands of employees. So let's see what they are doing. It is not a straight cut, because a lot of people think like that. Okay, so you want to destroy the federal government? No, it doesn't work. We don't want to collapse the United States government. We should be functional. So looking at the government, the people that work there, how many people they need, what they do, and start reducing employees, start questioning if really do we really need this department? Can we make a private this entity? Can we do it private? So try to reduce this this weight from the taxpayers, because we are ending paying them. We pay them, so we would be reducing the number of employees, and maybe some of the departments completely cut. I would say the Department of Education completely, and I would really look at the health Department of Health too, because I believe, and that is another question, that's another thing. There's so much bureaucracy in the health sector that makes prices go up and up and up, and insurance cannot even cover more. So we would look at every single department and try to reduce little by little all the number of employees. I've been working in many departments with the government. I know, and maybe you know as well, I know many people that they go to the office, they just go on their computer 5-6 hours straight consuming YouTube, listening to music, and go back to their homes. And they might answer a couple of emails. And these people can be GS 11, 13, 12, all these kind of, and these are hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't, not everyone, and I don't want to say everyone is like that, but maybe 10-15% of the workers, maybe it's doing. I saw a lot of people. So we need to question these things. The Department of Efficiency, we need to have some kind of control and see what are you doing, how productive you are, and cut positions.
I can save you the study, and if we need it, it can be privatized. And if we don't need it, then you just cut it all together. I just saved you a whole lot of money right there.
That's great. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because I think, I remember a lot of libertarians were extremely excited about Doge. And I was quite apprehensive about it because I simply didn't trust the people that were in charge of it. Because initially when they rolled this thing out, they had 2 directors, or it was Elon Musk and the Indian dude from Ohio. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, nothing says government efficiency like having 2 bosses in one department. I was like, that's a bad sign right there.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think they used it more for a data collection for their AI models than anything else, because it's not that hard to find waste in the United States government. The first place you look, if you have been paying any kind of attention for the last 50 to 60 years, is the Department of Defense, where they have failed every single audit that they have undertaken in that department. And they don't really hit. They do what is it, supplemental? It's not really part of the main budget of the United States. It's its own separate thing where they say, and they're literally asking for $1.5 trillion this year for their budget. And I'm like, damn. Number one, when you had 800 million, that was more than the top 10 to 12 militaries in the world. And if you dissect that out, 8 to 10 of those militaries are in NATO or our allies in some way, shape, or form. So who are you planning on fighting? Because, Russia is basically a paper tiger. Ukraine, even with the cutoff of U.S. aid, they're still handing Russia their ass on a platter. And China hasn't fought a conflict of any consequence since they got in the beef with Vietnam. And a lot of Americans may not know that, but China and Vietnam fought some skirmishes, as well as with India. And that was literally a Jackie Chan movie because it was hand-to-hand combat. I would pay to see that in real life, to be honest with you, the Indians and the Chinese hand-to-hand combat, because I think that would be
war.
Yeah,
that's a nuclear war.
Yeah. And so the United States government, and this is why I get so frustrated with Americans, is because what kind of problems that we have, yet you keep sending the same people to go address those problems. That's like catching the fox that's eating your chickens, and the fox says, "Hey, I was just looking after them." You're like, well, okay, let's go put the fox back in the chicken coop and see what happens next time. That's literally what electing the duopoly is over and over again. And we're reaching towards the end of our podcast, so I'm going to hand it off to my guy Free for his last question, comments, etc., that he can pose to Taner, or his commentary on tonight.
Yeah, so just a general campaign question. What's been the biggest challenge in your campaign so far, and how are you working to overcome it?
Well, it's an ongoing challenge. It's the signatures. The signatures we need to collect. In my case, 1,000 signatures. Of course, within those 1,000 signatures, maybe 200 will be bad. It's not. It won't be correct or whatever. So we need to hit the 1,400 or even 1,500 signatures. So that's the challenge. It requires time, being outside with the paper and a pen and asking one by one to people walking on the street for their signature. So that's the challenge. But now that the summer is coming, I have 4 or 5 big events going on in my county here in Fredericksburg. Orange, Culpeper will be setting a tent and a table, God willing. So people be going there, maybe 10,000, 15,000. So it will be crowds of people there, and we would be able to provide flyers, brochures, information, and just have volunteers there. They're asking to first get the first stage, which is the collecting the signatures. And I will use that as an opportunity to introduce myself with what I'm working for, what I'm planning for the U.S. Tell people with any kind of marketing flyers information. So that is the challenge, and that is the solution. Hopefully it will work.
Great.
Awesome. Do you have any commentary that you wanted to speak to, Free?
No, I think that's, the biggest problem with what everybody's doing. It's a big passion project of Lars Mapstead, who was just at the National Convention. He had a table set up for his Ballots Without Barriers organization, which is great. I hope I got the name correct. But yeah, so I mean, I wish you luck in that. It's a big challenge. It takes a lot of time and a lot of manpower.
Yeah, we'll get there. That point, we'll get there.
Awesome. I didn't have much, but I think you speak with passion, and there's one thing I think you're our 4th or 5th person that was born outside of this country that came on here as a libertarian running for local and state. I'm not sure if we had any federal, but it always does my heart well when people come to this country and immediately or at some point realize that the duopoly is full of shit. And that's because you didn't get a grand U.S. public education. I firmly believe that this is something that more people need to pay attention to. When somebody, I'm not saying you're an outsider, but you could come in here and see the deficiencies in our electoral system, especially with the whole AIPAC thing, because I posted after Thomas Massie was defeated that we are a foreign occupied government. And,
Absolutely.
It sickens me that, our government acts at the behest of a country that doesn't give a crap about Americans. We're sending money literally they're a socialist country. Everybody likes to say they're the only democracy in the Middle East. That's bullshit. What did we fight the Iraq war for if they're the only democracy? I thought we freed them so they could be a democracy. But the fact that they can supplement their government budget with our money to provide free healthcare, free college, you know, they have a whole class of citizens that don't work and just study the Torah, and we could prop all of those people up. But when we come here, the number one reason why Americans go bankrupt is healthcare. When we come here, when Americans are living check to check because they have to decide between buying gas and groceries. If that's America first to me. And that's why I think it's so critical that libertarians, whether we win or not, we have to get that message out there. And that's why I encourage everybody in the Commonwealth of Virginia to look. Where is your area again? What are the cities?
Yes, it's Fredericksburg. It's Fredericksburg, part of Woodbridge, Stafford, King George, Orange, Culpeper. So
okay.
These are the cities in my district.
Yeah, and Americans, and I would plead with you, listen to the libertarian message, and people like Taner that came here for the American dream and realized the American dream cannot exist in a system where you have no choice in who you elect. And that's why I would ask everybody to go to your webpage. Even if you don't live in Virginia, you can still contribute to a libertarian cause and get the message out there. If you want change, you have to be the change. You know, I'm not trying to quote Obama, but this is what you have to do. You just can't sit on the sidelines, make memes, and be an edgelord all day on social media and not try to kick in for a brother trying to do something good for you. So with that being said, can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media and whatnot and your contact info?
Yeah, and thank you for your words. It's very, very wise words. I would like to be followed, of course, on X, Lopez4VA, at Lopez4VA, and on Facebook, Lopez4VA. It's LOPEZFORVA. So they can follow me there. And absolutely, we are the Libertarian Party. We want to liberate our country from the chains of foreign occupation and billionaires, Wall Street. We are the future of this country, and I am inviting all of you to invest in libertarianism, in Libertarian Party. And we want to hear from you. We want to represent you, and you're going to be happy. Our country will be better. The future of your children will be better. Vote Libertarian and join the cause. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming on. We truly appreciate that. Free, you got any parting words?
Yeah, well, tomorrow night I've got an episode of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We are doing a Freedom Fest preview. We're calling it the Freedom Fest Showdown. And we have the two founders of Freedom Fest on, Dr. Mark Skousen and his lovely wife, Joanne, as well as the president of Freedom Fest, Valerie Durham. So we're really excited about that. And then I know Amity's also on, Larry Sharp, tomorrow night with Spike Cohen, and I'm spacing on the third name, but that's going to be a banger. You know, speaking of supporting candidates, I'm a big supporter of Larry Sharp, and everybody else should be too, because New York is ripe for some liberty as well. So check that show out as well. Watch one, catch the second one on replay, catch them both on replay, whatever you need to do. But two shows on at the same time tomorrow night.
Awesome. I think I'm going to go with the Amity angle tomorrow night because she's prettier than Free, hands down. So
true. I'm better looking than Larry Sharp, though, so I think that might cancel it out by that.
Well, I mean, there's something to be balanced there. But this has been the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast that has ever existed in the universe. I'm Marcus Matthews, the only real libertarian. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my guy Free for showing up, getting my back tonight. Truly appreciate you, brother. Taner Lopez, we wish you the best. I truly believe in your message, and I think that you will resonate with a lot of people on a lot of reasons, because I sure had you for a Caribbean Latino. I was thinking Dominican all this time, and you just threw me a curveball with the Turkish Spanish roots, but but it's all good, my brother, because I got your back, Free got your back, and the Libertarian Party National shared you out. You had a crap ton of people listening to your message tonight, and we want to thank all of them for doing that. We would ask anybody who saw this, please share. Check out Free on Are You Smarter Than a Politician? This is probably the second best libertarian podcast after mine.
I'll take
all
it.
right.
I'll take it.
Okay, we'll go 1 and 1A. So thank you very much for everybody who listened, watch. This has been the Black Powder Podcast. As we always say, Free, I'm going to let you say the second part of this. As we always close out our podcast, it's always live free
or die. Peace, y'all. Good luck, Tanner.